Sasha here. Now you've been instructed to watch this video because you are experiencing a functional postural issue, something which we refer to as a proximal cross syndrome. So that's a functional imbalance between tight muscles and weak muscles. Now it's important to recognise that this functional issue, this functional imbalance, is built upon the underlying structure of your spine. Okay, so now what we've done here is we've drawn out a side view of a spine with the person facing that way. You can tell by the nose there. Now the proximal cross syndrome is a combination of weak muscles, tight muscles and tight muscles. So they're weak mid-back and scapular stabilizing muscles and weak deep neck flexors. They're tight pec muscles and tight upper back trap muscles. So it's a combination of all these factors. So from the side, what it classically looks like is a flex posture, rolling into the shoulders, head forward and chin jutting out. Now for this video, what we're going to be doing is going to show you the first stage to build some awareness and strength in your scapular stabilizing muscles. Okay, so these muscles are your mid-back muscles and your external rotators. So what happens when these muscles, they aren't stabilizing your scapula and that your nervous system isn't as aware of these muscles and can't control and coordinate them as well, is you get what we call an anterior tilt of your shoulder blades. So your scapula, they tilt forward like so, and then they protract, so they come forward. So when these muscles are weak, they essentially contribute to that, and they don't allow for the opposite action. So opposite action is tilting your shoulder blades back down and locking them on the rib cage and protracting them backwards. So what we want to do is we want to learn how to become aware and control and stabilize these muscles, as well as your external rotators, because when we have that weakness and tightness through there, we get internal rotation, so we want to do the opposite. So we want to also learn how to become aware and stabilize our external rotation. Now, one last thing before I show you what to do with this video. If you're watching this right now, you're going to fall into either one of two categories. So the first category is that you currently don't do any exercise or you haven't really done any exercise for quite a while. So this is a really good foundation and starting step for you to do, to learn these exercises and to integrate them into your own exercises in your own time. Now, the second category that you may fall into is somebody who is already doing exercises, yet they might have sort of lost touch with the foundational or fundamental steps of this stability through the mid-back area. So it's really important that you take that step back, just go over these basic exercises again. So it's not going to take you that long to refamiliarize yourself with them. So to go over them and to learn them and then to integrate them into the exercises that you're already doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the first step to learning how to move and control your scapula. Okay, so this movement that I'm going to show you now is what we call scapular clocks. So it's just an exercise to learn how to move your scapula, which are your shoulder blades. So they move up, down, forward and backwards. So what you're going to need is a wall, stand about arm's length in front, pop your palms on the wall, try to get your fingers flat against the wall, and then turn your armpits so they're facing the ceiling. So that's going to get a little bit of external rotation. Then feet shoulder width apart, gently draw your belly button to your spine, activate your glutes and just tuck your chin in a little bit, activate your core muscles. From here, we want to do those 4 movements. So up, down, back to the middle, forward, back to the middle, and backwards. So up, down, forwards, and backwards, really squeezing your shoulder blades together. Now we want to really try to learn this movement to the fullest, so we don't want to do little movements, so we don't want to do up, down, forward, back. We really want to take it as far as we can go. Now you're going to want to do this for a minute, and you're going to need to do it about 2 to 4 times per day. Okay, so it's not a rep exercise, just time yourself for a minute and really focus on taking the movements to the extreme, okay? So really make sure that you're doing the movements correctly and that you're concentrating on doing the movements and not something else. So that's a minute, and you do it 2 to 4 times, every day. So we need to do this before we move on to the next exercise. And we need to do it until we start to feel quite familiar with the exercise. So that might take 1 to 2 weeks, but whenever you start to feel familiar and that you think intrinsically that you're ready to move on to the next exercise, double check with your chiropractor, and then you can progress to the next strengthening exercise. Now, one last little tip whilst we're doing this: when you start to begin to feel familiar, what you can do is actually a combination of the movement. So bring your scapula back and down, because locking them in that position is where we want them for the next exercise. So what that looks like, so you go up, down, forward, back. When you're doing it for a minute, what you can do is just do a couple of sets during that minute, or a couple of shots during that minute of squeezing them together, so bringing them back, and then combining it with the downwards movement. So you're really locking them against your shoulder, locking your shoulder blades against your rib cage, and you're really squeezing them together at the back. Okay, so any questions with that? Just double check with your chiropractor and I'll make sure that you're going through it correctly. Otherwise, we will see you next time.